So with the Sony ULT Wear I, I feel that this is a preview of what to expect from Sony's future ANC headphones. Now, the Sony ULT Wear are the successors to the Sony XB910Ns, which are Sony's mid-tier ANC headphones. But today, we're going to break down Sony's ANC headphone lineup for mid-2024, which now consists of the Sony WH-CH720Ns, the Sony ULT Wear, the Sony 1000XM4s, and the Sony 1000XM5s. So if you're in the market for a pair of ANC headphones, let's see which one's right for you. Regarding on pricing, the entry-level Sony WH-CH720N have a retail price of $150, but they like to go on sale for $120, and on major shopping holidays, they can go for as low as $100. Then there are the mid-tier Sony ULT Wear, and these have a retail price of $200, but they can be found on sale for $180. And then there are the Sony 1000XM4s, and these have a retail price of $350, but they like to go on sale for $300. And on major shopping holidays, they like to go on sale for $250. And finally, there are the Sony 1000XM5s, and these retail for $400, but they can be found on sale for $330. Nonetheless, if you want to pick any of these headphones up, they'll be linked down below, or you can always press on the YouTube shopping button. And if you want to further support the channel, pick up a big head approved hat, linked down below. We've got trucker hats and snapbacks. By buying a hat, you help the unbiased and unsponsored videos coming, and it also helps us cover more products and produce more versus videos. Thank you to everyone who's already bought a hat, and look out for more designs coming soon. And also, please remember to hit that like button, and let's get subscribed. Now first, let's address the carrying cases that come included with these headphones. Unfortunately, the WH-CH720Ns still don't come included with a case at all, which is a disappointment all around because there are plenty of other entry-level ANC headphones that do. But then there are the ULT Wears and the 1000XM4s, which both come included with a decently small hard shell carrying case, and part of the reason why these cases are so small is because both of these headphones are fully collapsible, whereas the XM5s, these have a lay flat design, so their case does have a noticeably larger footprint than these other two headphones. But also, the XM5's case is noticeably thicker than these other two cases as well. So if you plan on constantly traveling with your headphones, the XM5s wouldn't be my first choice because traveling with their case is a hassle, especially compared to these other two headphones and even the rest of the competition. Now, with the cases out of the way, let's focus on the headphones themselves. From a material standpoint, all of these headphones have a mostly plastic body, and they all have leatherette on their headband and ear pads. Now, all of these headphones are using recycled plastics, except for the XM4s. Now, the recycled plastics found on these headphones doesn't feel as dense as the new plastic found on the XM4s. However, from a durability standpoint, I have had no issues with cracks or fractures on either the XM5s or WH-CH720Ns, which are both over a year old now. But also, the leatherette on all of these headphones are very different as well. The leatherette on the XM4s is okay, but it does feel very plasticky. Then there's the leatherette on the ULT Wear and WH-CH720Ns, which feel much more supple, and there's even a slight grain to it. The leatherette on the ULT Wear has Bose-like vibes to it, but not as good. And finally, there are the XM5s, which have all new leatherette to it. The leatherette on the XM5s feels like silicone, but with less friction to it. Overall, I prefer the leatherette on the XM5s over the XM4s, but I think the ULT Wears have the best feeling leatherette here, and the WH-CH720Ns aren't far behind. But now let's talk about fit. Now, all of these headphones are relatively lightweight when compared to the rest of the competition. The ULT Wear weigh in at 255 grams, the 1000XM4s weigh in at 254 grams, and the 1000XM5s weigh in at 250 grams. But then there are the WH-CH720Ns, which weigh in at 192 grams. Now, all of these headphones are lightweight, and they are very easy to forget that you have on when you're sitting at your desk or while in bed, and you barely notice any of these headphones shifting around on your head when you're walking around with them on. However, the WH-CH720Ns are just even less noticeable because they weigh in at just 192 grams. Now, when it comes to clamping force, all of these headphones are big hit approved because they have a neutral amount of clamping force, as in they aren't too tight and they aren't too loose. However, the XM5s do have the firmest fit here, but that's the least of the XM5's worries because in general, these are the least comfortable headphones here. One of my main problems with the XM5s is their very thin and minimally padded headband. I found that at the 1 hour mark, this headband does like to create a hotspot on the top of my head, so I just have to take them off and take a break. Whereas hotspots aren't a problem for any of these other headphones because all of these headbands have a decent amount of padding. But then there are the ear pads. The ear pads on the XM5s have a very wide diameter to them. However, they are very shallow. So I found that even if you have average size ears, these shallow ear pads can press down on your cartilage, which does get uncomfortable after a while. Whereas with all of these other headphones, their ear pads are a lot more spacious and they should have no problem fitting most average size ears. And even if you have very large ears or ears that stick out a lot, they should still have you covered. So overall, when it comes to fit, the WH-CH720Ns are the most comfortable headphones here because they are super lightweight and they have a very spacious ear pads. The 1000XM4s should fit most people just fine, and the ULT Wear fit very similar to the 1000XM4s, but their ear pads are even more spacious. And finally, there are the XM5s, which fit okay, but I do have my reservations about them because of their thin and minimally padded headband and shallow ear pads. But now let's talk about tech specs, and there aren't any major differences here. The ULT Wear XM4s and XM5s are all good for up to 30 hours with the active noise cancellation turned on, whereas the WH-CH720Ns are good for up to 35 hours. And in general, these headphones all have above average battery life. And if you were to use all of these headphones with the active noise cancellation turned off, then you can always extend their battery life that way. And when it comes to charging these headphones, they all charge via a USB-C port as they should. However, these USB-C ports on all of these headphones are strictly used for charging. You can't use any of these USB-C ports as a wired connection like you can with some other headphones out there. However, all of these headphones still do have a 3.5mm audio jack, and they all come included with an audio cable. Now, I know this sounds very basic, but I do have to point this out because some companies are starting to remove the audio jacks on their headphones as a cost-cutting measure, or they sell you the audio cable separately. And I feel that being able to use your headphones with a wired connection is still super important, either if you're a frequent flyer, a content creator, or if you simply just want to use your headphones passively because they ran out of battery. Now, when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity, all of these headphones can be connected to any two Bluetooth devices at the same time, regardless of ecosystem, which is good if you're a power user with a PC and an iPhone. And when it comes to overall performance, all of these headphones have zero latency across the board when watching movies or videos on your phone, whether you're using an iPhone or an Android device. But when it comes to audio codecs, the WH-CH720Ns only have support for SBC and AAC, which is fine. Whereas with all of these other headphones, they have support for SBC, AAC, and LDAC, which is Sony's own in-house high-res audio codec. However, if you want to use LDAC, you do have to be an Android user because iPhones top out at AAC. But also, if you do decide to use LDAC, then that is going to take an additional toll on the battery life. Because yeah, these headphones do have an advertised battery life of 30 hours with their active noise cancellation turned on, but that's if they're using AAC. If you use LDAC, then they're going to go down to 25 hours. But now let's talk about actually listening to music with these headphones, because all of these headphones sound different from one another. Now, first off, with all of these headphones, they connect to Sony's app, so you can customize their EQ to your liking. So if you want a bass-heavy EQ, then any of these headphones can do that, or if you want a neutral EQ, then these headphones can do that as well. And this is a big deal, because this is a feature that wasn't found on the WH-CH720N's predecessors. However, from a performance standpoint, the WH-CH720N and 1000XM4s, both of these headphones sound good enough to get the job done. But when it comes to instrument separation, these headphones can sound a little narrow when compared to other headphones, and their instrumentals can get lost because they don't have the best instrument separation. These headphones are mostly bass and vocals, but they still sound good enough to get the job done. Now, when it comes to actually feeling your bass, the WH-CH720Ns will be able to deliver deliver. However, with the XM4s, these have noticeably more kick to them in their bass. But then there are the Sony 1000XM5s and Sony ULT Wear, and these headphones sound and perform very differently. Now, with the Sony 1000XM5s, these have improved instrument separation and improved clarity from the XM4s. However, these have a little less physicality in their bass than the XM4s. The XM5s still sound good and they should be able to satiate most people, but if you like more kick in your bass, then you'll want to go with the XM4s. But then there are the ULT Wear. Now, the ULT Wear also have great instrument separation like the XM5s, but these have a lot more bass than all of these other headphones. However, the bass on the ULT Wear is very different from the bass from its predecessors. The bass on the ULT Wear is now mostly on the audible side, meaning that you're gonna hear that bass, but you're not going to get as much kick out of it like you would with its predecessors. However, if you have these headphones set to ULT 2, and if you have the clear bass slider turned up to 10, then you are going to get a lot more kick out of the bass on the ULT Wear than you would with these other headphones. Overall, I do feel that the ULT Wear are the best sounding and most fun headphones to listen to music with here. The XM5s also sound good because of their improved instrument separation, but they have less kick in their bass than the XM4s. And with both the XM4s and WH-CH720Ns, these headphones sound good enough to get the job done. Now, when it comes to actually controlling your medium, the WH-CH720Ns are using physical buttons, whereas all of these other headphones are using touchpads. Now, the touchpads on all of these headphones are easy enough to use, and they're all very accurate. Now, they aren't perfect, but they aren't problematic like with some other touchpads out there. However, the ULT Wears, XM5s, and XM4s all have wear sensors, so they'll all automatically pause your music when you take them off. And then when you put them back on, they'll start playing your music again. Now, personally, I don't really care for wear sensors on my headphones, so I usually just turn them off, but they are there if you want them. But now let's talk about the active noise cancellation on these headphones. Obviously, as you move up in price, these headphones are going to block out more noise, and thanks to the built-in pressure sensors found on both the XM4s and XM5s, these two headphones are still the best headphones out there if ANC is very important to you, especially if you plan on flying with these headphones. But so that you can see for yourself, we're going to go ahead and jump into an ANC test. So, like you may have just seen, as you move up Sony's product lineup, they block out more noise. Now, the WH-CH720Ns block out an adequate amount of noise for a pair of entry-level ANC headphones. Now, these headphones don't block out a ton of noise, and I wouldn't recommend them for flying, but they can help out on your bus ride home. Next up, there are the ULT Wears, and these block out noticeably more noise than the WH-CH720N. They block out more road noise, and they do a better job of blocking out chatter. So these can help out if you're using them in a cafeteria or at the gym. Then there are the XM4s, which block out more noise than the ULT Wear, plus they have an atmospheric pressure sensor, so they are going to perform noticeably better than the ULT Wears if you're in an airplane, after they've been calibrated. And finally, there are the XM5s, which also have an atmospheric pressure sensor, and they block out even more noise than the XM4s. Not only do they block out more lower frequency sounds like road noise, but they also do a much better job of blocking out higher frequency sounds like chatter, which was an issue for the XM4s. However, even though the XM5s block out more noise than the XM4s, they do have a little more cabin pressure. So if you're sensitive to cabin pressure like I am, then you might want to be cautious issues with the XM5s, but the XM4s, ULT Wear, and WH-CH720N are all much safer bets because they all have much less cabin pressure. But regardless, if you're looking for a pair of headphones to constantly fly with, then the XM5s are currently the best ANC headphones to go with, because after multiple real-world tests, the XM5s block out the most amount of airplane noise. Just be warned that dealing with their carrying case can be a hassle when you're traveling with them. Personally, I still prefer to fly with the XM4s because of their smaller case, and even though the XM4s are ancient in the tech world, thanks to their atmospheric pressure sensor, they actually still block out more noise than both the Bose QC Ultra and Bose QC headphones while at cruising altitude. So again, if you plan on flying a lot with your headphones, you're still better off with either the XM4s or XM5s. But then there's the ambient mode on these headphones. Now all of these headphones have decent sounding ambient modes on them, and you can adjust their ambient mode to your liking. However, the ULT Wear have the best sounding ambient mode here because it does sound the most natural. The ambient mode on the ULT Wear is super close to sounding like you're not wearing anything at all. But also the ambient mode on the XM4s, XM5s, and ULT Wear are all the active kind, meaning that they will actively block out sudden loud noises like a dog barking or if a siren rolls by, protecting your hearing from just getting blasted. But let me just show you just a major headphone warning. So like we have just seen, when the ULT Wear detected that sudden loud sound, they turned their ambient mode off, and when that loud sound stopped, they turned their ambient mode back on. Now both the XM4s and XM5s also do this, but the ULT Wear have the best active ambient mode here because it's the fastest to react and it's also the most sensitive. Whereas with the WH-CH720Ns, these will just let in everything. But next up, there's Speak to Chat, which is found on both only the XM5s and XM4s, and Speak to Chat works a little like this. Hello there. So this is Speak to Chat. Basically, when I start talking, these headphones will automatically lower the volume of music and pump in all of the ambient sound around you so that you can talk to someone without even to have to touch the headphones themselves. Now, these headphones will stay in this state for a preset determined amount of time, which you can adjust through the app, or you can always manually cancel Speak to Chat by double tapping on the touchpad like this. But personally, I'm not a really big fan of Speak to Chat because it's very easy to accidentally activate it. If you're talking to yourself very quietly, that can activate it. If you're singing along to your music, that can activate it. If you start laughing, that can activate it. And on rare occasions, loud enough outside sounds can activate it as well. So that's why I don't use it. Personally, I still prefer to use Quick Attention because it's a lot more intentional and you can find it on the ULT Wear, XM4s, and XM5s. Basically, when you fully cover the touchpad on any of these headphones, they're going to lower the volume of your music and pump in all of the ambient sound around you, like this. And then when you let go, the headphones will go back to normal again. Now, like I said, I prefer Quick Attention over Speak to Chat because it's a lot more intentional. But Sony still refuses to just lock a Quick Attention after it's been activated for a few seconds. So you do gotta stand there and just have your hand up like this the whole time you're trying to talk to someone. I just wish that Sony would change it so that you can simply let go with other headphones that have a similar feature. But nonetheless, I still really like Quick Attention on the ULT Wear, XM4s, and XM5s. But finally, here's the microphone test. Now, Sony has always struggled with their microphone for phone calls, but I feel that they're finally fixing that. Now, I feel the XM4s have an okay sounding microphones for phone calls while in a quiet room, but I feel the WH-CH720Ns sound a little better here. However, with the ULT Wear, I feel that these are doing a better job of focusing on my voice. And I feel that the Sony 1000XM5s are doing the best job here of focusing on my voice. But the really impressive thing here about this microphone is the way that it deals with noise pollution, because this microphone blocks out a lot of noise. Because if we were to switch over to my lapel microphone, you're going to clearly hear all of this road noise. But if we were to switch back over to the Sony 1000XM5s, it is severely reduced. Whereas with the Sony ULT Wear, the Sony 1000XM4s, and the Sony WH-720Ns, there's a lot more interference in the background. And it's the same thing when it comes to blocking out chatter. The Sony WH-720Ns, the Sony 1000XM4s, and Sony ULT Wear, these all struggle when it comes to blocking out chatter. Whereas there are the Sony 1000XM5s, which block out a lot of chatter, and my voice doesn't sound all that bad. And for comparison's sake, if we were to switch over to my lapel microphone, you're going to clearly hear all of this chatter. But if we were to switch back over to the Sony 1000XM5s, it is severely reduced. So the XM5s have the best performing and best sounding microphone here, and you can take phone calls anywhere. Whereas with all of these other headphones, I would only take phone calls with them while in a quiet room. So with all that being said, here's my breakdown of Sony's current ANC headphone lineup as of mid-2024. The WH-720Ns are a great pair of entry-level ANC headphones that have a lot of needed upgrades from its predecessors. These headphones now connect to Sony's Headphones app, so you can customize their EQ to your liking, and in general, they sound good enough to get the job done. They have an adjustable ambient mode, and they block out an adequate amount of noise for a pair of entry-level ANC headphones. However, what I really love about these headphones is just their overall fit and comfort. These things are super lightweight and super comfortable. These are a great option for the gym. The main downside is that you are going to have to buy your own hard shell carrying case. But then there are the ULT Wear, and these are a great upgrade over the WH-720N because they block out more noise. I think these are the best sounding headphones here, and they still fit great because they're relatively lightweight and they have the most spacious ear cups here. And finally, there are the XM5s and XM4s. The Sony 1000XM5s are still the king of active noise cancellation as of summer 2024. And thanks to their built-in atmospheric pressure sensors, both the XM5s and the XM4s block out more noise than both of Bose's ANC headphones while at cruising altitude. But personally, I still prefer the XM4s over the XM5s because the XM4s are more comfortable to wear than the XM5s. Their case is smaller, so it's easy to fly with these headphones, and I like that the XM4s have more kick in their bass than the XM5s. But if you want to block out the absolute most amount of noise, and if you want better instrument separation, then you'll want to go with the XM5s, even though I do feel that you will have to make some sacrifices, especially when it comes to that case and fit. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit the like button and get subscribed. If you want to pick any of the products up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And you know I can be very particular, so I'll only slap my name on something if I'm really proud of it.